It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. With me to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who made his Grand Prix debut here with Minardi back in 2002. So, Ant, this is a bit of a special one for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I also stood in to commentate on Jensen's win in 2006, and as I was a test driver for Honda at the time, you can imagine that was quite an emotional Grand Prix. It's also a tough circuit on the drivers, this one too. Lots of long, slow corners that require a lot of patience from inside the car. Plus, it's a very downforce-heavy circuit. I mean, it's all relative, of course, but if you're lacking a bit in downforce, or if you've got a bit of an imbalance in the setup, this is definitely one of the worst places to have to deal with that.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, and Perez, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, and Carlos Sainz. A Ferrari, Kvyat, Fernando Alonso, and Palmer, Van Dorn, Stroll, Felipe Massa, and Pascal Wehrlein. Magnussen and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck. So 6.5. P7 now. P7. Perez is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 3.5 seconds. They're on old super softs. Hulkenberg is behind you. The gap behind us is 2.7 seconds. They're on old super softs. Pit window will open in 10 laps time. Pit window opens in 10 laps. 31 laps to go. Copy. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the super softs. We're sat in 6th. Perez ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 4.7 seconds. They're on old super softs. Hulkenberg behind. The gap to the car behind is 8.4 seconds. They're on old super softs. Your pit window opens in 2 laps time. 27 laps to go. We advise moving to mix 2. Fuel to mix 2. seconds. They're on fresh softs. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 24 laps to go. Kimi is pitting. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed. some information on Ricardo. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car. Didn't catch that. Say again. Say again, you're breaking up. You have P3. Bottas is ahead of you. The gap to the car ahead is 2.8 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Verstappen behind. The gap behind us is 6.0 seconds. They're on fresh super softs. Your pit window is open. Pit window is open. You have 20 laps till the end. Looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain. Receive that. Repeat the message. Repeat that. There's interference. There's static over the radio. Say again. Caution, the safety car is out. Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately. We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one? Copy that. Affirmative. Medium tyres at the next stop. Say that again, we're having trouble receiving. Slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace. racing as you leave the pits. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. We should see heavy rainfall on track in about 10 minutes. Understood, stopping this lap. Okay, fitting intermediate tyres next. Give that position back. We are under safety car conditions and cannot overtake. Return the position. Go now. We're still on the right tyres for the time being. Expecting the rain to get worse within the next few minutes. To increase within the next couple of minutes. enter in around 5 minutes. Light rain in 5 minutes' time. Position, front of the pack. Okay, the gap behind is 11.7 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 9 laps to go. See these tyres through to the end now. 7 laps to go. Seconds. They're on old inters. The time last lap was a 1:34.8. car's showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain. Say again. Say again, you're breaking up. You are in first position, front of the pack. Our gap behind is 6.4 seconds. They're on old inters. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. 5 laps till the end. Certainly eased off for the time being, but we've still got a lot of standing water out there. We're happy for you to stay out on the inters for now. Engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon. You're leading the pack, P1. Okay, the gap behind is 5.9 seconds. They're on old inters. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 4 laps remaining. Of fuel remaining. Exacerbate the issue, so keep the temps under control. Kimi behind the gap behind us is 5.3 seconds. They're on old inters. The time last lap was a 34.9. 3.7 seconds. They're on old inters. The time last lap was a 1:34.5. Superb driving. That's the race win.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Our current points leader extends their lead at the top of the championship after a very good result here today. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Let's give it to Kevin Magnussen. That was a commanding performance today, very impressive indeed.
And now let's